What's up, Planko fans? This is Jasmine.
And I'm Michael.
And you're watching M&J Games.
And welcome to our end of the year video where we are going to give you guys some of the most memorable parks that we have spotlighted this year. And so how we went about doing this is Jasmine had the idea of approaching it instead of saying best, because best is so subjective to everybody, right? Like Jasmine and I would have different things that we look for in parks that kind of stand out. She had the decision to just talk about the most memorable. Most memorable. So, how many parks did we decide for each person?
5 per person, and we're going to take turns, and these are not done in any particular order. So, if you are the first park, that doesn't necessarily mean that we think yours is the best.
Yeah, and there were a couple that that I potentially thought about doing, but I decided to choose different ones just because when Matty did his video a couple weeks ago, he chose some of these parks, and I didn't want it to just be a repeat of some.
Yeah.
Just because I want us to, everybody to be able to get the spotlight for their parks and spread the love, so to speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are we're really excited to kind of show you guys and talk about some of the parks that really stood out to us this year. And so let's begin with the first one.
Okay, so this is the first park. This park is called Tron Into the Grid by Brivades, and this was one of my picks. So the reason why I chose this park is because it was just so memorable to me how he created the grid and the cars from the movie. I just really loved it, and it was very memorable for me. So, and I just thought it was so stunning and so exceptional. We're not going to go through the whole ride again because we're trying to cut down on time. So, but I just wanted to go back to the grid so you guys could see what it looks like. And there also was a part towards the end of the ride where it was in I don't know, the city or something, and that looked really cool.
Yeah, and I agree with you. This one was really a fantastic. Ooh, I can't even see where we're going now.
Click.
There we go. Yeah, so as you can kind of see, this is the, I guess what you go through to enter the grid. But this was a really, really well done park by Brivades, and this is one of those that is more of a coaster experience than a whole park. But it's just really well done, and I know this, look at this. This is just kind of unbelievable how he made this all kind of look and stand out. Because if you were to turn the light on, I'm sure this is you just got terrain around us here. Yeah. And so as you can see, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to the end.
Yeah, I don't want to go through the whole thing, but this is fine. We can just leave it on this one.
Yeah.
On this section. But it was just so well done and so unique. I felt like this deserved to be in the top 5.
Agreed. So now we're going to look at one of my top 5 choices. Now from the craziness of Tron, we go to the beauty of Puerto Baja Hotel and Resort. I believe I stated that correctly. So this was made by Insomniac YouTube. And, he's got a YouTube channel, so if you haven't already checked him out, make sure to go check out his channel, as the link is below. But this is one of the 2 parks that I reviewed from him this year, and it's so, amazing because it's so unique and different. Like, it's about the experience of, you got, this lake that kind of surrounds this hotel and resort area with a couple theme park rides kind of sprinkled in. And so to me, what really stood out was just how beautiful this was and how unique the creation was. And then this coaster was the best that I've seen that he's made. And I just like the kind of the dual leveled here, where you got the coaster on the bottom. The coaster kind of goes through the building, but you've also got a flat ride up here.
That's different.
Yeah, and so the coaster kind of goes in and out of the building a couple times, as you can kind of see. But it's really, really well done. And then Miss Jasmine didn't join me on this one, but then he also made this coaster experience called Ritual. And I'm trying to turn it to nighttime so we can kind of see. We're not really going to ride the ride necessarily, but it was a really cool kind of coaster experience.
It's like
where,
a cult.
yeah, it's like a ritual of a cult, and so part of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was. Let me look at that. That's pretty cool. Pretty unique, right?
That is. Oh, this is violent.
Yeah.
Not for children.
Yeah, not for the faint of heart. But yeah, and then you got this little guy here that's a ghost. I'm just kidding. No, that was it was really well done, and then you almost had these Hobbit style. There's like a Hobbit village over here, basically, with these kind of houses and stuff. Kind of remind me of Lord of the Rings. But yeah, and Jasmine didn't join me on this park tour, but real quick, since you didn't join me on this park tour, Jasmine, does anything kind of stand out to you?
Well, I really like the yachts. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just for decoration, but that's really nice to have those.
Yeah. And I think to me, the last thing, one of the coolest things about this was, if you look at the overview, you know, it's kind of like the guests enter over here, and they can either take the boat ride into the marina or they can walk all the way. So it's just kind of a really cool concept and idea of how to kind of create this different terrain and stuff like that. And then not to mention, I mean, look at this little village up here, Jasmine. This is just awesome.
Yeah.
This little village with the church and stuff. So yeah, this is definitely, like we said, we're not ranking any of these, and we're not saying that these are the 5 best or anything like that, because there have been so many just amazing creations that we've looked at, and you know, to sit there and say somebody's is better than another one is just not fair, because it's you know, everybody designs their parks differently, but this is one of the ones that really stood out to me and was memorable.
On to the next park. Okay, so we're in park number 3. This is my second pick. This is Flora and Fauna by Insomniac. Is it Insomniac 14 or just
Insomniac 14?
Insomniac 14. And the reason why I chose this park is because this was one of the parks that I use for inspiration constantly, just for my scenery and just how Insomniac builds some of his buildings. They're just very unique. He also uses some really cool techniques with lighting, and that's just something that I try to aspire to when I'm building. And I just really loved this park. I guess because of all of the flowers and stuff, because I love flowers. But this one was just, I don't know, that's just all I can say about it, was that it's just so memorable for me, and I just constantly use it for inspiration. And he also does really well with color coding his rides. And so he has that little green coaster that has this little gator on it, a little gator face. And I just thought this was like the cutest station design, and it's just so cute to me.
Yeah, this was an impressive park. I remember this was fairly early on.
Yeah, this might be one of the earlier parks that we toured, or that we did a spotlight on. I feel like.
Yeah, and he did a really good job with it. The coloring, like you said, I mean, coasters are really good. I think that was my favorite coaster right there. But I mean, you can just see with the foliage here, like as you're entering the park, it looks almost like Mickey Mouse, almost like a face and then ears.
Oh yeah,
right there.
I can see that.
But yeah, really well done. And yes, I mean, I agree with you on this choice. He does a really great job with stuff. So this is an impressive park.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are at park number 2 for me, and this is a park that is inspired by Silver Dollar City in Dollywood. It's called Oak Ridge Valley, and it was created by TSM Fighter 10. And so this coaster had a Thunderhead kind of vibe to it for me, and it's one of those where it just looks amazing when you are in first person view. Just kind of seeing the beauty of the scenery, and it really does feel like Silver Dollar City. And this was shot pretty soon after Jasmine and I experienced Silver Dollar City, so it's kind of cool just to see the coasters inspired by some of them.
Yeah.
Like this one was inspired by Wildfire.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then you have this one over here that I thought was kind of like a, I didn't really know what this one was inspired by, but now I know it's inspired by wildfire over in Holland with how this first hill is.
Oh, okay.
But this is just really well done with the scenery and scenic views, and you got this little lake here, and it's just really, really well done. So what did you think about this park when we toured it, Jasmine?
Yeah, I really liked it, and I mean, I definitely had more of an appreciation for it after we went to Silver Dollar City. Not that I thought it was bad or anything, but usually, like, I tend to not really build in this sort of style that's like rustic sort of. Mm-hmm. But Silver Dollar City made me really have an appreciation for this kind of country, rustic, style theme park. So I actually really enjoyed it. So
yeah, and for me, like when I look at parks a lot of times too, like the whole realism aspect to me is huge, and that stands out more to me than it does for other people, which is why everybody looks for different things when they look at a park. But like this to me just stood out as such a realistic park in terms of the layout, how the stations were built, how the coasters were built, because they're all modeled after like real life type coasters. And so that's kind of really what really pushed this one over the top for me, was the realism aspect of it. Now on to the third park for us, or as you could say, park number 5.
All right, so we are in the 5th park. This is my third pick. And this park is called Frontier of Pandora by Silver Punker. This one had to be on my list because, first of all, I love the Avatar movie. And second of all, Animal Kingdom is my favorite Disney World park. So I love the Avatar section in Animal Kingdom. So this park was definitely on my list because of all of the lighting, all of the scenery, everything was so well done. The terrain work, it was just absolutely stunning and exceptional, in my opinion. And Silver Punker also did a really good job with just some of the station designs, and then not to mention the actual rides of some of the coasters. I've never seen anything like this doing all of the park tours that we've done. We've seen some parks that were inspired by movies, but this just took it to a whole other level. So
agreed. And I think this part was one of the most interesting parts of the park, in like it's almost like Jurassic World themed, but it's behind all the mountains and stuff, so you can't see any of it until you're actually on the coaster, which was kind of a really cool thing. And I definitely need to check out his Harry Potter World Park, because just
can you zoom into that building right there?
Yeah,
just so we can see the inside of one of the buildings. Yeah, so Silver Punker just did such a good job with the interior of some of these buildings, and just using different sorts of pieces to make structures, and I just thought that was so interesting. So and not to mention creating the spirit, I think it's called the spirit tree in the movie. It just looked so good.
Yeah,
so
for sure, agreed. I mean, the lighting is just insane. I mean, just looking at this area, like this is never an area right here that the guests are going to see, but just all the detail. And then you've got this river rapids here. I mean, that view is just
amazing.
Yeah, there's no other words to say other than amazing. So on to my third choice. So park number 3 is called Explorerland by one of the greatest names for username, called Now Then Fella. It kind of reminds me of, if anybody has seen the old movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you're a shower curtain ring fella. So if anybody's seen that movie, you get that reference. If not,
I don't get the reference.
Yeah, if not, then you probably just think I'm weird, which is okay.
You're weird.
Yeah, that's true. But I just love there's like 3 or 4 distinct areas in this park. And this part, when Matty and I were touring this, because Matty joined me on this park tour, we both said, like, this has got Jasmine written all over it right here. With that chair swing and like the foliage. And it's cool too because it was just slightly elevated, right? So it gives you that appearance of looking up to it.
Yeah.
There was this China land over here, or this Chinese area. The coasters were pretty good overall too. So I think that's kind of a really kind of cool theme that I've never really used much, just because I've been kind of I'm not great with theming, so I've been kind of nervous to touch that theme a little bit. But this area, Maddie and I were both just like, we were in complete awe over it. This full steampunk area.
Oh, yeah, that looks cool.
Yeah, and so like you got that Big Ben tower right there. I mean, look at all the little rubble pieces, and
Yeah, that's cool.
it's really well done. And then this coaster, I just got to show people this for people who didn't see this tour. Like this RMC is awesome, by the way, amazing. But does anybody wonder how in the world did he get those supports on the RMC? Because if you think about RMC supports, that's what it looks like, right, babe? So these supports, if you look at the RMC and you delete the RMC, he overlaid an Anubis train with it to get those really cool supports for it.
Oh.
So it's like one of the most unique things I've seen done in a game, and it looks outstanding because that's pretty similar to how some of the, not exactly the same, but how some of the supports look. Like he could have continued this going across, I think, one more time, but that was one of those that really just kind of really stood out to me. And then the last area was this kind of like African themed area a little bit, or maybe like Egyptian a little bit, but yeah. So once again, this was not a tour that you joined me on, so anything kind of stand out to you?
No, I mean, I really like that steampunk area just because I'm working on a steampunk section for my park right now, my sandbox park. So, and yeah, that looks super cool.
Yeah, really, really well done. So let's move onward to
the seventh park?
Seventh park, or we could say the fourth for each of us.
Okay.
So let's see what's coming next.
Hello! And welcome to the seventh park. My fourth pick. I had to include Iron Matty's Eden Gardens Park. Just because he is just so talented. I just can't even express how talented Matty is. First of all, we have to look at this little farming area over here. I had never seen anything like this in the game when we were touring this park. And he really just thought outside of the box. And I mean, like this little horse area, like that is just amazing. I just can't even.
Yeah.
I can't even talk right now, but but he just did such a good job with this one. And we've talked to Matty. He's a close friend of ours, and he was saying he was worried that he felt like he couldn't like top this one. Like he did such a good job on it, but I'm like, you can top this. I mean, yes, this is absolutely amazing, but he can top it. I'm sure he can. I have full faith in him. So,
and look at this view too. A lot of the viewpoints here.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and he also had, I think there was a yellow coaster that was kind of underground. That was pretty cool. Over here. Yeah.
The wasp's nest.
Yeah. So this part, or like this station right here, is one that I think about whenever I think of a coaster like underground. Like this is one of the ones that I just think of. And I guess it's not necessarily like underground, but he really had to plan this out in order to make it look like this. Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was super cool.
Yep, I agree. So let's pause for a second and give a clap to Matty. Matty, you made Jasmine's list. So good job.
And then can we also look in like the main building? I think. Yeah. I think. Let's see. Yeah, this was really cool. It has like multiple levels to it, or maybe it's just 2 levels. But that is super hard to do in the game, to have multi-levels on a building like that. And I just, I love modern, so, and this is kind of modern architecture, sort of. So I just really loved this.
Yeah, great job, Matty. I second everything Jasmine said, and even the little details of having the ivy on the bottom there.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give it that sense of realism and stuff. So wonderful job, Matty. Now we are in another park that Jasmine was not on the tour for, so you can kind of see a trend right there.
Yeah, I'm partly offended that you chose all these parks that I wasn't on.
Well, maybe you should have been available to film a park tour with me.
Excuse me. Okay, fine. You have a point.
I'm just kidding. Just messing with you. But yeah, this is called Midgar Land of Vikings by Cincinnati, and it's got two of the most detailed stations I've ever seen. And it's a small park, but it's at the PS4 limit. So like Cincinnati, along with NH99 and Albris, are some of the most detailed creators that like the amount of detailed pieces they use. Like, look here. This is this is insane.
Yeah, that looks super cool.
Absolutely insane. And then it's got a on-ride photo section upside down, which is cool. So I think there's a sign over here, or it says your inverted photo ride.
Oh, that's cute.
But just like all the buildings, I mean, to build an entire park using this Viking theme just seems like exhausting.
Yeah.
But he did so well with it. So like you look here at the interior. Like, what?
Oh, that is cool.
What in the world?
I wonder if he plays Assassin's Creed
Valhalla,
because I mean that's what it looks like.
Yeah. And there was, a ton of more buildings. We don't have time to look at everything. But then there's a little area over here where there would be like a Viking show.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and so he's put like people there, like there's people watching.
Yeah.
There's like staff room back here, staff area. So I mean, just the detail is just next level. And then same thing with this. I mean, this is one of like to me, having a destination for a coaster is like this is just awesome.
That looks so cool. I love it. I like that arch.
Well, and then like look at the station in the background with it too. So you come in this way, you got the arch that's created, and there's a little sit down area. And this is like a Top Thrill King de Ka style coaster.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just one of those launch coasters. And then like I think those are individual pieces. No, never mind. That's the actual wall piece. Never mind. But then you come in here, and once again, detailed station. It's not as majestic as the other one in terms of height, but it's still really detailed. Yeah. And yeah, so
yeah, very cool.
Real quick thought on this one, Jasmine, since you didn't join me for the tour.
No, I mean, I would have liked to be on this tour because it looks so good, but yeah, I mean, this definitely deserves to be in your most memorable list.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of realism to it, which I like. Realism kind of stands out to me. And I mean, even like look at the covered cues here. I mean, just everything is like next level detail.
And look at that font. That looks really cool. What does that say? Molinar, something like that. That looks cool though.
And then like the detail here, just awesome. So now we're heading on to part 9.
Okay, we've made it to my final pick, and it was Nova World from Born to Mike. This is one of our more recent park spotlights, but this really stood out in my mind with the architecture and the colors. Everything is very cohesive looking, and this just really made an impression on me. This is probably a park that I will be using for inspiration for some buildings in the future.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I just thought that this creator did such a good job making these sort of structures like that are decorative, like that tree thing, and some of the way that they made the coasters, and like, I don't know, it just, everything is just so well done to me, at least in my opinion. Did you have any thoughts, Michael?
Yeah, I agree. I think the building design is fantastic. And as we can kind of go over here, I think just a lot of the scenery around this coaster fragment was really cool.
Yeah,
So it
yeah,
kind of
that
creates
was cool.
a cool vibe
It's
as you
like a
kind of,
sort of
like
almost like a tunnel.
yeah, as you kind of get launched. I think the use of, like I said, the use of basic shapes to kind of create cool kind of visuals was awesome. And the use of the terrain tool, because using this cement terrain tool the whole time, or this tarmac, it allowed to cover up kind of imperfections, like right there. Like that's not actually path, but using the terrain tool right there kind of masks that. And so I think even though it's like just a slab of concrete, like let's be realistic, that's all theme parks are, is a slab of concrete. So to me,
Yeah.
like it hits realism from that aspect on it. And then I think when I saw this building, which is like a better version of a building I made previously, very similar to it, and I saw it on a YouTube video by Matt Lown making it, and this is just taking it to another level. I was like, all right, this dude he's good. Like, he's good at making all these designs, and like this hotel building right here,
Yeah, that's cool.
or restaurant. Yeah, so really, really well done, and I definitely agree with this as another choice of yours. So anything else to say, or on to the last one?
On to the last park.
And what will the last park be?
I don't know.
You're about to find out. And we are here in probably up to this point the most detailed park on console, just period. I mean, the amount of detail that NH99 put into this park is insane. And I was, when Jasmine and I were talking about what parks do we want to use, I wanted to use ones that were like, I really did want to use ones that were different than what Iron Matty did, just because we want to show everybody, like, show different creators and all this stuff. Like we said, everybody's is great, but this is just one that I just couldn't not show. Like I kept saying, I'm gonna look at another one, but this is just too good. And like all of NH's creations are amazing, but like this one was like to another level.
Yeah.
And just the detail. I mean, he always just pays so much attention to detail, but it's like this, where's this building over here? So there's a building over here where you walk in.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks so good.
So good. And it's like his detail, or his bathrooms are all decked out, but there's like entryways from many different areas. So like this is like a little outside area. I couldn't not have this in the list.
Yeah.
And I think it's modeled after Disneyland Paris. It's like you've got this little walkway area this way that leads to another little restaurant area. And
yeah, that's cool.
Just the detail is insane. And then I love this little compass.
That's really nice.
And in January, there's a video going to be coming out. I think right now it's January 15th, just because I've got a lot of stuff already scheduled. Albriss's most recent park, called Fablewald, can definitely challenge this one in terms of in detail and everything, and that's going to be one that comes out to in January. But yeah, this is just amazing, and I don't really know what else there is to say. Like, I love the monument here.
Yeah.
Respect to America. Thank you from my fellow friend in Germany. But yeah, this is just amazing. Anything else you want to say, or anything else stands out to you?
No, this is your pick.
I know, but this is what, I mean, you're like, look at even adding the detail right there.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the station. This station is just like, I don't even know how you go about making this station. There's so many different building levels to it. This is just insane. Really amazing job. And one thing we wanted to say too is, like, we've loved every park we've spotlighted. Like, we wouldn't spotlight a park if we didn't
like it.
Yeah, if we didn't like it or didn't feel passionate about it. So, like we said before, we're not trying to sit here and say that
we're not saying these are the best.
No, it's ones that really stood out to us, and like one that I did want to like Hollow Peaks was another one that really stood out to me, but because Matty has chosen that one, I didn't want so many of ours to be the same.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is just one I just couldn't could not look at it.
Yeah, we really, I mean, it took us a while to really come up with our choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really debating having Royston Valley on mine because it was so different. And that's definitely a memorable park.
Yeah, for sure.
But and then we were also debating whether we were going to have runner-ups, but we were like, oh, we already have 10. I don't think we need runner-ups because it's not about it's not really a matter of winning, you know.
Agreed. Now, one thing I want to show you, Jasmine, is look at this. Throughout this whole thing, he made emergency exits. Like, literally, he made tunnels of emergency exits.
How long did he tell you how long it took him to make this?
Like 3 months.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I could see that taking 3 months.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. So that's it, right?
Yeah, so
anything
that's
else you wanted to say?
There was something, but I totally forgot, and now I'm blanking. What did you say before I showed you the tunnels? There was something
I was saying runner-ups. We decided not to do runner-ups.
Yeah, I wanted to get y'all's opinion, our viewers. I want to get y'all's opinion on something. So to me, and this is not bashing anybody that does this, when people have what do they say? Like if you have your top 10 and you say you actually have like 2 that you consider, you'd be like, well, these 2 are considered. Why am I blanking on the
runner-ups?
Not runner-ups. People use
honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. So to me, what's the point of honorable mentions? Because they don't make the top 10. So if you're gonna have 5 honorable mentions, make it top 15. Like honorable mentions don't make sense to me because you're making a list. So your list, if your list is top 10,
I think honorable mentions are, we were so close to putting these people on the list, but we just couldn't. But they're worthy of an honorable mention because they came so close to being in the top.
But it's like that's basically you're saying, yeah, you're not good enough to make this list.
No, it's saying because, you know, if you're in some sort of contest and the judges really were debating a long time on whatever it was that you did, but they ultimately decided not to choose you, but it was a super hard choice, then honorable mention.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, I get it for some situations, but what's y'all's thoughts on it?
I don't know. That's my thought on it.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it for some things, like.
But I think, you know, for this one, it's just, this isn't a contest.
No, this is not. This is not a contest at all. Just amazing detail here, and sorry we rambled here at the end.
Yeah, you're spending way too much time on this park, babe.
Well, we're not talking about the park anymore. We're just chatting.
I know, but you're just showing it like this is the best one. It's not.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. All right.
I'm sorry that we have so much screen time for this park. I'm not doing the controls, Michael is.
Yep. All right, guys. So thank y'all so much just for all your support this year. And this has been a great year in terms of just getting to become a part of this community and starting our YouTube channel and stuff. And here's to another great year of growth.
2022.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And I believe this is coming out on New Year's Eve, possibly. So
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. If this is not out New Year's Eve, then Happy New Year because it's already the new year. But thank you guys so much. Bye.